Hello, everyone, and welcome to the best and worst of Walt Disney World, brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And we're also brought to you by Disboards.com, a great resource to help you plan that Disney Universal vacation, and also a great place to continue the best and worst of Walt Disney World discussions. But today's episode, first of all, one, I'm your host, Rhino Clavin. Two, our episode this week is going to be the top 4 worst things about Disney's Hollywood Studios, brought to you by Disboards, where we put up a thread. More specifically, Craig Williams put up a thread for us to have some things to hear what our audience thinks are the worst things about Hollywood Studios. But to help me have this conversation in person, alive and well, Steve Porter.
Oh, whoa, we don't go that way normally. Hello.
I'm mixing it up on your toes. We've got Corey Fiasco.
Howdy, folks.
I will never say your real last name. And Craig Williams.
Ahoy.
The man that makes it happen. Like we said, put up a thread. We got quite a bit of responses in that thread here that are still coming. And we asked what everyone out there, what you thought, or everyone on disboards.com thought of what were blah, blah, blah. We asked everybody what you thought were the worst things about Hollywood Studios, and we took those here before the show and made a list of what it seemed like the general feedback was. So I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way to the top like I do in life. Yes. So the first thing that a lot of people seem to have issues with is the park layout. Now, this park, when it originally opened, was supposed to be one of those like hidden Mickeys. You know, it had the big 2-ear circles and then one giant head, and then that kind of hit the bricks when they added Sunset Boulevard and they changed the backlot tour and added lights, more actions, stuff like that. So it's really just became kind of this one ear and a little bit of a head. But yeah, so the way the park stands right now is it's got a lot of dead ends. When you enter the park, you go right up the main strip. If you want to go down Sunset Boulevard, where Tower of Terror and
Rock and Roller Coaster?
Yeah, I almost called it the other one, the Universal one. Rock and Roller Coaster. It's not only is that one strip a dead end, but both of those areas are little dead ends. And then if you go back to like Toy Story, the Toy Story Land area, where it used to be called Pixar Place, and now I can't remember what it's called. The Metropolis City area.
It's an incredible celebration.
Is it not? It does. I thought they renamed it to Municiburg.
But on the map, it's going to say an incredible celebration.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that area down by Toy Story Land, there is all closed off right now because of the Star Wars construction for Galaxy's Edge. And then if you go over toward the Muppets area of the park, where like Baseline Tap House is, also closed off in a dead end. So you kind of just keep having to gravitate back toward the Great Movie Ride area, which is also closed because it's becoming Mickey's Runaway Railway. Something? Am I missing a word out of that?
Railway?
Oh, I said railway.
You said Mickey's Runaway.
I said Mickey's Runaway Railway, and I said I'm missing a word out of that.
Then.
So lots of dead ends.
I agree with this completely. I will say... I agree with the posters on the Disboards. I will say I think things will be better when Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opens, because at least right now Toy Story Land and like the Muppets area are both 2 of the main dead ends besides Sunset. And I think when Star Wars opens, it'll kind of help loop that around. So yes, in its current state, this is, I think, a bigger problem. But I think with Star Wars opening, hopefully this will be a little bit better.
Well, hopefully, but the thing is, though, what I imagine and what I've asked some cast members that I used to work with about how they were dealing with it is, I think in the beginning, one's going to be an in, one's going to be an out. But this still will not help with traffic when you're going in or out of Toy Story Land, because if it's only one way, you're going to get a flood of people going kind of either against traffic, or in the case of Toy Story Land, if they're all going into Toy Story Land and that's the way, it just kind of creates this like river of people.
And there's still very stupid decisions that were made at different periods in time. So like now the area back where Mama Melrose and Muppet Vision is, back in the day that made sense because you had it continuing to connect into the backlot and all of that. But now that that's gone, that's most likely, if there's only going to be one way in Star Wars, it's going to be that one grand entrance right at Grand Avenue. That will still remain kind of a dead-end loop circle back there unless they ever do something else, which I don't think they can because that should be Star Wars right there. You still have the dead end that is Sunset Boulevard on there. You have a weird narrow street that has nothing else on it except for the ABC commissary on that one lane, which I guess in a way is a shortcut, but it's like it really is just random placement here and there and everywhere. And I guess Pixar, that's probably where Municiberg is right now. That'll probably remain a dead end for the time that time being. So future. Yeah, for the foreseeable future. So just a lot of dead ends. Again, though, with what we talked about in the best things, the park's still tiny. So it's still easy to get around everywhere, but I agree, it does not make sense in terms of layouts.
Yeah. I think the Sunset, is the worst offender because it's such a long street, and if you get now with Lightning's Racing Academy, it can go, if you're all the way back there and you have to get there, then like just getting from there and then back to like the hub, the center of the park, that's a long stretch, so you got to go back and down if that's the only thing that you're planning on doing, especially if you're not a thrill seeker and you're just going down to see just that. Maybe you have small kids and so you don't care about Rock and Roller Coaster or Tower of Terror.
Oh yeah, it's like I want them to just finally bulldoze the building where Launch Bay is in and finally make a pathway that connects from Rock and Roller Coaster to the animation courtyard, because as a cast member back in the day, it was nice getting to walk backstage because then you could go straight from...
What were you doing behind Hollywood Studios?
I was allowed to go back there because we did some extra magic experiences.
Oh, okay.
So, and then, every now and then you got to break the rules a little bit when you're trying to get around the park faster. So, handcuff me and throw me in jail 9 years after I worked there.
I'll get the security guards on you. No, I agree. Honestly, actually, you raise a valid point. That's probably actually the next area that I would imagine that they could use and reappropriate to add more expansion to the park, because that kind of area back there is where animation buildings used to be, and it was an actual animation facility that's no longer used. And so it seems like it would be the next logical step to kind of maybe connect those two to make another area over there. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what's going on now and why we don't like it right now. So the next thing we have that people were pretty vocal about were the lack of actual rides, not attractions specifically, but specifically rides, and that they were saying the shows are outdated. How do you feel about this, Corey?
I agree with that completely, especially the rides part. I think back on the best, we were talking about the thrills. Mm-hmm. And if you're not a fan of thrills, there's not a lot for you at Hollywood Studios. So somebody who is going there and doesn't like roller coasters or doesn't like things like Tower of Terror, you're going to be very limited to what you can do there. Almost nothing, really. I mean, you got the alien swirling saucers now.
Toy Story Mania.
You got Toy Story Mania, but even that, like, if you're prone to motion sickness, you can do really nothing. So if you don't like roller coasters, thrill rides, and you're prone to motion sickness, there really is no rides for you at Hollywood Studios.
There's no slow moving Omnimover.
Yeah,
which is, I guess Animal Kingdom doesn't have a slow moving Omnimover, but.
No, honestly, Animal Kingdom is just like a tiny hair step better with that by having something like It's Tough to Be a Bug and now Navi River Journey and Kilimanjaro Safaris, but they're kind of an offender with the thrills as well. So
yeah, I there's no questioning that kind of is like it was a show heavy park, and it's just. Yeah, I have people that I'll go to Disney with, and they'll be just like, I don't like the shows. And honestly, like, I'm not a big show person myself either. I feel like it's a commitment of time that you don't even realize until about halfway into it that you're like, I hate this and want to leave, but I'm too embarrassed to get up and leave, so I have to watch it all.
So for me, though, I just want to point out, it's about the quality of the attractions that are there.
Of all attractions, yeah.
So it might not have a lot, but Tower of Terror is still amazing after all these years. Everyone loves Rock and Roller Coaster, Slinky Dog Dash. I love me some alien swirling saucers. Toy Story Midway Mania. I just got stuck on repeat, sorry. Star Tours. There's no one can deny, though, that if they don't have a lot, at least the ones that they do are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed when they got rid of Great Movie Ride because, when I was younger, I'm still young, but I really like, roller coasters and thrill rides and stuff like that. But now I get a little sense of motion sickness on certain things. But Great Movie Ride was, I love the slower moving, relaxing rides. Not that that was a relaxing ride, but it was really cool. But yeah, there's nothing like that now.
Not now, yeah.
Yeah, if you were going to Hollywood Studios and for me, Star Tours, I can't walk off without having a migraine.
I like to call the rides like Great Movie Rides the grandma rides. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean, like, what rides would I bring my grandmother on that she would be okay with? And she could eat Great Movie Ride, yeah. But other than that, you're like, there's no other motion.
There's no grandma rides at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. So I say that in a negative way. Next, people were pretty outspoken. This was definitely one of the worst things. They said the dining options, and that specifically seemed to veer toward the
quick service.
Quick service, yeah. And overall, people were just upset about dining options, period. But it seems like people were pretty vocal about saying the quick service, not only are there not good options, but the options they have are terrible.
I would say the only disagreement I have with this is I think that Woody's Lunchbox is really good. The only problem with Woody's Lunchbox is that the seating there is not set up very well. There's very limited seating. But the food itself, I like there.
You know why I like Woody's Lunchbox? Because it's basic in the best way possible. Like, it's not. I don't know if basic is the best way.
It's almost like we're not going to try to make this too complicated.
Well, some days I just want a sandwich.
Right.
And like what I appreciate about Woody's Lunchbox is you can pretty much go over there and get like a turkey sandwich. And it's kind of a no thrills thing, but like, I like that that's an option there, because everywhere else it's like burgers and chicken nuggets and stuff. And sometimes I'm just like, it's a little much for me. But at the same time, they also, they've got the potato barrels with the stuff on it. And, it's got the Pop-Tart that's not a Pop-Tart. And, what's the other thing? I feel like I'm missing one of their cool things. They have the s'mores sandwich. There's some fun options on there.
I feel like the people who aren't enjoying Hollywood Studios quick service might be just going to like Backlot Express over and over and over again, or they're still stuck on Pizza Rizzo being awful,
or ABC. I don't think ABC.
People I haven't eaten there recently, but anytime I talk to anyone who eats there, they actually enjoy it now. Which I
thought you were just talking on this. Well, it's kind of confusing time-wise, but on the Tuesday show, you were just saying it took 15 minutes to get a meal. Yeah,
but I don't think that waiting times has anything to do with ultimately if the quality of the food is good. And so if the food's good, you're willing to wait a little while for it.
It's a combination of things.
At all the other parks, I have quick service locations that I gravitate towards and get excited about. Hollywood Studios, I don't have one.
I guess that's a good way to put it. I was trying to think if there's one that I'm like excited about, and I do think that I still do enjoy Woody's Lunchbox would be that one for me. But then you factor in the fact I am repeating words a lot in this episode, but the fact that there is not a lot of really well spaced out shaded areas or anything like that, it kind of puts that little bit of a damper in my head.
I'd say that at least every park has one signature quick service dining place, and I would say that Hollywood Studios doesn't have a signature one at all. I don't think it means that there's not bad ones, because like I love all the ones in the Sunset Market area. It's maybe has like one or two unique items, but I've never had like truly terrible food from that section. But it's also not something like you tell your friends at home, like, you gotta eat at Catalina Eddie's.
You're going there.
You have to eat there. Like, you don't do that, but that doesn't mean there's not good options around.
I think my feelings are, for me personally, though, is that there aren't a lot of options, period. Not just at different places to eat at, but there's nothing there's nothing there's not an exciting offering. Like, yeah, I like Woody's Lunchbox because they have the basic offering, but on the other side of that, there's nothing that I'm not seeking anything out. Right. Like I go to Pandora and Animal Kingdom, and anytime I really go into Animal Kingdom, I seek out, Satuli Canteen because I love the bowls.
I also like Harambe there.
Yeah, Harambe Market's really good.
Yeah, that's a good one too. So they've got a couple there, and Magic Kingdom, everybody's got their like favorite kind of thing, there, whether it's a snack or all this stuff. And I think like Hollywood Studios doesn't really have have that thing there, but it seems like the number one thing that people don't like, though, is the state of the park in its current, where it stands at this
State.
moment. Yep, I did it again. Allow myself to introduce myself. But I mean, I'd have to agree. There's construction walls up everywhere. Okay, nothing is very fluid right now. We talked about the attractions. The layout of the park. There, we didn't have. Mickey's Runaway Railway is not open, and so that means that not backlot tour. God, I am trying to live my glory days. That great movie ride is not functional. Indiana Jones is pretty out of date at this point. It's just we're right on that cusp of things getting exciting, but it's not.
Well, and this summer, Tower of Terror is going to be running at half speed. I think like one of the elevators is going to be down.
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible too.
You said you're reliving your glory days, and it's funny that you said that because whenever I go to Hollywood Studios, I always kind of catch myself doing like, oh, I remember this memory here at the Great Movie Ride with my family, and oh, I remember when they pulled us back into this building in 2002 to like have us watch a movie pilot and I'm kind of talking about how Hollywood Studios used to be and what I loved about it then, and right now it's in a spot where it's kind of transitioning.
Yeah.
So.
I just want to clarify, not half speed as the elevator's not going to go half
No,
speed.
I got
the
you.
queue is going to be half speed.
Yeah, the attraction itself. Yeah.
I think that it leads into one of the, we didn't talk about it, but if people don't like the current state of the park and they're staying away, that's why I love it, because I'm actually at Hollywood Studios more than any other park. I think it's honestly probably my favorite park right now. I do love Magic Kingdom, but it's the hassle of actually getting there. When I know I can just pop into Hollywood Studios really quickly and easily, it's a leg up for me. And then get a drink at Baseline Tap House. I know I'll be able to find a good quick service food option somewhere, do 1 or 2 rides, and get out. It's always a good time, but
that's definitely a local's perspective for sure.
Oh yeah, no, I can. But like my best friend who comes down here multiple times a year, traveling down, annual pass holder, but from there, I mean, it seems like I only hang out with him at Hollywood Studios because that's the park they love the most too. So it's some people love it, some people hate it. It's a very divisive park.
We're having a hard time talking today.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's a big reason, like Craig was saying, that's a big reason why I know it's not the park we're talking about. It's a big reason I love Epcot, though, because there's so many attractions that people just don't do that I can go and enjoy because I actually like them. I like the relaxing attractions. But yeah, because it's less crowded there, I totally see that.
Hollywood Studios it's celebrating its 30th year this year, and it's one of those things where it's always kind of been a park that never really has reached its full potential yet, I don't think, and it's like you just brought up, I had never gone there as a kid, so I went for the first time during my grad night in 2003, and then I worked there when I moved here in 2007 for like 9 years, and it's hard because when I had Lights, Motors, Action and the backlot tour, you could go back that way, and even as those needed to go though, especially the backlot tour was basically like so like
watered down,
like oh, good one. I see what you did there because all the water falls out.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Purpose, whatever. Anyway, like they needed to go, but the problem is when you want things to go and you want new stuff, it has to take time and development, and that was all during the process of like originally that was going to be Radiator Springs too, and it is now. When Star Wars came into the mix, that's when everything changed, and so it's had to deal with that sort of a thing too. So this sort of investment takes that time that it can be frustrating if you're somebody that's here all the time, but if you're somebody who only comes every 10 years, it's going to be a completely different park for you the next time you're here. So
I think I'm also a little bit of an apologist with it because I've been to the Walt Disney Studios park in Paris, and that's the closest thing to Hollywood Studios anywhere else. And that park is such a freaking disaster with a lot of the same stuff as our Hollywood Studios. It has a rock and roller coaster. It still has its Lights Motor Action, which is where we got ours from. It has their version of the Backlot Tour, Tower of Terror. Basically, the only good things there's one good show that rotates in and out. There's a Crush Coaster and Ratatouille, which we're getting. And beyond that, the rest of that park is just a complete dumpster fire. And so I think once you go that low, you can come back and look at Hollywood Studios and be like, it might not make sense in layout. It might have some not so great things, but it could be a whole lot worse. And trust me, it could.
Well, and I just also think, like you were mentioning, like there's just so much to look forward to with this park that I can forgive it for its faults right now. Like,
it's weird, yeah, but the fact that we're even having a conversation like that does say a lot about the park, because I would never say any of these things about Magic Kingdom. Like, yes, Magic Kingdom has a hassle and there are negative things about it, but not in this type of way where I feel like we've setting the bar really low with Hollywood Studios about how we talk about it, but I would never...
I guess, yeah, like Magic Kingdom's getting Tron, but we're not...
Yeah. No, but I mean in general, just the general, like, I don't think this way about any of those other parks, like the way I feel about Hollywood Studios. And I don't mean that in a negative way. You can go and you can love Hollywood Studios, but I don't know that any one of those other three parks has had a transformation like Hollywood Studios has been undergoing its entire life of the park. And I think that's part of that. It's about to emerge from its chrysalis, and hopefully it'll be a beautiful butterfly. And with that creepy note.
Is that ASMR over there?
Yeah, a little bit. I get to get real quiet and I was going to... That's the butterfly flying away. Well, that is the worst things about Hollywood Studios. The top 4 things that you, the folks who went to disboards.com, gave us. That is the park layout, lack of actual rides with outdated shows, dining options pertaining to quick service, and the state of the park as it exists right this moment. So thank you, everybody who participated in that thread on disboards.com. If you did not, or you are unaware about that, go to disboards.com, check out all the awesome threads on there. You can start a new one and say how much you hate us and our opinions on the show, or that, you know, we could be positive and do the flip side, but this is the worst episode. So, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're watching on YouTube and you like this, you can feel free to subscribe to the channel. And if you click the bell up there, you're going to get notified about all the sort of content that we put up here. And if you are listening on iTunes, please feel free to rate and review the podcast as well. We do love constructive criticism. Thank you guys for having this conversation. And we'll see you next time with another episode of the best and worst of Walt Disney World.